You gotta love a bit of Japanese car culture. Welcome to Damned.
You may not have heard of Damned Co, but it's actually been around since 1982, making fiberglass bits for various cars, including wide arches for BMWs, body kits for K cars and vans, and various other bits and pieces. The company quietly went around winning plenty of awards both for the creativity and the quality of its work. You want big screen recognition? It's a Damned body kit on Paul Walker's Evo 8 in the second Fast and Furious film. But Damned didn't stop there. They kept innovating and making new stuff, including an LFA-inspired GT86 called the LFT86. But it wasn't until 2019 that Damned came up with the genius idea of the Little G, a Suzuki Jimny that aped the blocky style of the Mercedes G-Wagen. And a legend was born. It's all steered by President Shogo Omodaka, whose dad started the company. Shogo-san is a very cool fella, so I asked him about Damned's design process.
まずは弊社のデザイナーが車が販売されている車のスケッチを描いて、でその後、企画が通ったらまず 3D CAD で、CAD で、製品の設計を行います。でその後 3D プリントを行って、デザインレビューをやった後に型に入って、微調整して販売っていう形になります。よく見るとオマージュでデフォルメなんですよね。全く同じデザインをやっているわけじゃなくて、ポイントポイントでその重要なそのモチーフになるところを引っ張ってきて当てはめているので、デザイン自体はもうよく見ると違うんですよね。そうですね、基本的にパッと見てこうカスタムしてないようなオリジナルでこのまま売ってるようなっていうスタイリングを目指して設計をするように意識してます。やっぱりこう車として認識してほしい。カスタムカーではなくてこのまま売ってる車っていう風にお客さんに見てもらった方がなんかこうそのまま車を買うっていう意識でカスタムパーツを手にしてほしいって思ってるからです。
So the idea of a car that is but isn't gets around the copyright issue by being inspired by rather than actual copying. But it's all very well looking at them. I wanted to know what they were like to actually drive. And in honour of the new Renault 5, there was only one car to head out in.
So here we are in a Damned Jimny. Well, sort of Jimny / Renault 5. It's really interesting because it is essentially just a Jimny. They are not the most dynamic of things. They're never quick. They're only about 100 horsepower. It's really choppy. You hit a bump, the whole car kind of rocks its head. But that's a Jimny thing, that's not a Damned thing. And the thing that's been making me laugh is the people that work at Damned, they are completely in on the joke. You know, they know how fun these cars are. They are not supposed to be serious products. But the idea is that it's just amusing. Like, every time people see this Renault 5, or indeed the Integrale version, they just seem to smile at it. Now in the UK, we only got the Jimny with a 1.5 litre 4-cylinder engine. And because of European regulations on emissions, it got withdrawn from sale pretty quickly. And now you can only buy it with no back seats because commercial vehicles have a slightly different set of regulations. But in Japan, where we are now, you could have a 700cc turbo engine. So they're still a K car, so they meet all the regs necessary to be one of Japan's little interesting cars. And all Damned do is basically have a really good idea and then recreate it. So they take these cars and make 3D printed things on them and then do molds so that they can do extra body panels. They design something that makes them smile, something that makes them happy, and then they make it. But the difference with this stuff is that it's really well made. So the panels themselves are actually just sort of stuck on, but they work really, really well. You can't really tell that they're not a factory fit panel. Inside, it's basically exactly like a Jimny would be. So it's quite chunky, but it's very plasticky. Got a little driver's information screen, some analog dials. It's got some different bride seats in this one, but you kind of forget that outside it doesn't look like a normal Jimny. This is like halfway house car modifying, because it doesn't take loads and loads of skill, but done properly and done well and painted nicely and fitted well, they look great. And if you break one, you just order another and stick another bit back on.
Okay, so you're probably not buying the kit because it's easy to repair, but the Damned company just seems to have that really forward-looking attitude. It's all very excellently Japanese. If you already have a Jimny, the kits are quite reasonable. For the little G Adventura G-Wagon alike, it's about £5,600 for the basic kit fitted, another £600 painting. The non-turbo non-Renault would likely be similar. But still, for something unique, it doesn't sound that bad. And in even better news, Damned has an official importer in the UK, so if you have a UK-based Jimny, you too could make it just that little bit more funky.
I think the reason that I like Damned so much is that other recreations or reps try to convince you that there's something more expensive or more important, whereas these, they just exist to make you happy. And you can't say fairer than that.